I walk through the shadow of death left to fear. This is a journey through the halls of hell.
Yes people, what is good? I am BA, back once again with another reaction in the Game of Thrones series. This is episode 6 of season 3 and it is called The Climb, last episode. So as you guys know by my lack of video, I had the flu last week and Game of Thrones is so vast, so much of what was going on in the last episode I just can't recall to mind before I'm watching this next one. I mean, Tyrion was getting married off to Sansa, Cersei was getting married off to Loras, we met Grey Worm for the first time, there was all sorts of stuff going on from all different directions, so let's just get into it. This is episode 6 of season 3, The Climb. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it.
Got too much wood in there.
But the more wood, the bigger the fire.
I appreciate your logic, Sam, but yeah, you've never went camping before.
You know you're fired.
Where people with woodsman training and arsonists join hands. Look at Sam's fucking perfect white teeth all of a sudden. What, was Craster a dentist? Is there some sort of dude at the wall who's really good with veneers? Did you take a quick trip to Turkey in between seasons? Explain yourself, Sam.
Is the wall as big as they say?
Oh, bigger?
How do you know it's bigger than what they say? You haven't heard what they say, Sam. What if they say the wall is 70 miles high, and then she gets there and it's not, and she'll be like, well, I thought you said it was bigger, and you'll say, well, yeah, get used to that.
Hob makes venison stew with onions. Very tasty.
Damn, I haven't eaten today yet. Give me the fucking venison stew with onions now.
The father's face is stern and strong. He sits and judges right from wrong.
I kind of feel like there might be some personal history in Sam's song choice here.
And she loves her little children.
That was a beautifully lit scene there. I wonder how much of that was post-colour grading and how much of that was in camera. Don't know why they banned this episode of Bugs Bunny.
Guess you don't learn how to do that north of the wall.
You learn how to use your fists, though.
Oh, you could have punched the rabbits to death.
You could. I mean, I doubt a rabbit would be able to take a right hook from Mike Tyson.
Well, some of us would say thank you when someone else hunts down their breakfast for them. Why don't they teach you to say thank you north of the wall?
You know, to save on budget, these are real dead rabbits they're skinning right now, and I can only hope to universally balance this that somewhere in an alien planet they are currently shoving kebab skewers up human anuses on camera to save for the budget of their alien medieval movie.
She put a knife to my throat.
First time I met you, you held a knife at me.
He's got you there. You did try and cut his throat when you first met. He's got you good.
Your way of skinning rabbits is quicker than mine.
I said so, didn't I?
Osha!
At least make a little bit of an effort, Osha.
Don't push me.
You two better start getting along because this guy is having a weird nightmare fit. Probably dreaming about Daniel Radcliffe. Don't you ever steal my roles again, you little shit. How dare your mum be friends with a casting agent? That's the only reason you got the part.
I saw Jon Snow.
You saw him?
I had a vision. See? I can do magic too. I can do magic the best. Can Harry Potter have visions? No, he needs his little fucking piece of wood in his hand to even do a rudimentary trick. Well, I have dream visions. But J.K. Rowling said my hair doesn't match the canon of the books. Go fuck yourself.
You ever climbed it before?
No. But Tolman's done it 100 times.
Yeah, but Tormund's also fucked a bear and sucked a giant tit, so he's not really a good gauge as to what is accomplishable by your average human being.
Nah. I didn't kill him. But I bet his balls are still bruised.
You're using too much suction, Egret. There's a fine line.
You didn't stop being a crow the day you walked into Mance Raider's tent.
It's interesting that really she and the King Beyond the Wall are the only two that have picked up on this. No one else is the least bit suspicious. I guess he did kill the half-hand, so he actually did quite a lot to gain most of these people's trust.
Mance Raider don't care if I live or die. It's you and me that matters.
Yeah, on one hand, this is cool, and I don't like just dronish people who follow the orders of a tyrant, which I've also said, but I do also think there is something to be said of oaths and loyalty and honour, and wow, people are so quick to cast that shit aside in this show. It means less than fucking nothing in this world.
Your eye knows when it wants the adder to go. Trust your eye.
Arya just gets a little bit of training everywhere she goes. I completely forget that this guy showed her a little bit on the bow as well, but yeah, she just goes from place to place acquiring skill sets.
Keep your elbow high. You want your back doing the hard labour.
You can tell they had a archer on set, by the way, because some of the advice he's given her is actual shit that archery coaches would say.
Valar Morghulis.
Valador Irish.
Nice, I've been missing her witchy comments. They make a great addition to the show.
My friends here don't speak High Valyrian.
Interesting that even in that scene, looking back, they purposely made a point to edit it so that her gaze was drawn towards Arya for a second. Fucking hell, Beric has felt some pain in his life. That would actually be a crazy standalone movie to just follow Beric through his 6 deaths.
I've always been a terrible priest. Drank too much rum.
It's not your fault, you were destined to be an alcoholic, you were based on Friar Tuck.
I decided that all the gods were stories we told the children to make them behave.
It's actually a crazy backstory. So the guy started as a hustler who used religion as a tool for manipulation, and then he literally saw a resurrection in front of himself after saying the words and was like, oh, so I haven't been hustling people, this shit's real.
And for the first time in my life, the Lord replied.
It would be like if you were selling people fool's gold, only for one day them to reveal that the market value of fool's gold is actually greater than that of a diamond. You'd be like, yeah, I was ripping you off, but actually, no.
There is no other side. I have been to the darkness, my lady.
I think that's an interesting way he's written this religion as well. You know, almost every religion has an afterlife theme built into it, and it almost adds to the credence that the Red God is real, in that there is no poetic, you know, just for human comfort afterlife where we get to live forever. Like, the shit he does while we're alive is real, but he doesn't offer us anything after death. It's just nothingness. And it's funny because when humans debate religion versus atheism, it's almost like, you know, something after death versus nothingness. Whereas this show illustrates that, you know, there could both be a god and still nothing after death.
Let go of him! Tell them to stop! He wants to be one of you!
She does this unnecessarily suspiciously, if you ask me. I think if she'd have just said, look, his blood is actually really powerful, we're going to put some non-lethal leeches on him, drain a bit of his blood to use it in ceremonies, and then he's free to go, they'd be like, oh, okay. But no, she comes here with a crew ready to black bag him. Of course everyone's going to think the worst.
You're more than they can ever be. They're just foot soldiers in the Great War.
And from her perspective, she's not actually doing anything bad here, she's just acquiring a really powerful weapon of war.
Eyes staring back at me. Brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes.
Some people hate Season 8 so much that they argue this sentence was just retroactively used to explain Arya killing the Night King. First of all, there is zero evidence of that. That's you literally reaching for additional reasons to hate on something, which is a really pathetic mindset, because they say cynicism is a coward's way of living, and that is certainly cynicism being employed in that thought process. Second of all, looking back, I think that's fucking incredible foreshadowing that she will one day kill the Night King. And the only reason people dispute it is because they don't want the show to have that good a foreshadowing, because it detracts from their ability to hate on Season 8. Do you understand the weird psychology being employed by people who dislike Season 8 as I slowly describe it to you? It's fucking weird. Not all the reasons, but that is some weird shit. It's not often I'll say this during this show, but you know, fuck that.
You're staring at me, ass, Jon Snow!
I mean, if you did have to scale a giant ice wall, you would at least want the good view on the way up, instead of Tormund farting on your head for 3 hours. Jesus Christ. I don't even know if the average person would have the muscle mass and stamina necessary to do that without dying.
You want some water? I wish I had some for you.
Oh my god, what an asshole. It's the sheer joy on his face as he does these things. At this point, Theon still deserves a little bit more of this, but not from this guy.
Your daddy was mean to you? The Starks didn't appreciate you?
Doing the baby voice doesn't help, but it is an incredibly pathetic reason that he went to Winterfell and did what he did.
How about your little finger? You don't use that for much, do you? No? Good. Let's start with that.
Is this the scene that ends the way I think it does? I hope it's not, but inevitably it's coming, so okay, let's get it over with.
Did you see any banners flying when we came in?
No. It was just a guess.
Even now, still just toying with him.
He is your brother.
Like, all of this is acting. He missed his calling. He should have went to King's Landing and joined a theatre troupe. I mean, he wouldn't have got to a crossbowed as many people, and I know that's a big pastime of his.
Rickard Karstark is Robb Stark's bannerman. That's why you're torturing me.
He just loves to give him these little glimmers of hope. That's what it is. It's no fun if it's all torture. You've got to make them think that the torture's about to stop for a moment.
Everything I told you.
That is such an unnecessary close-up. You don't need to show us that close-up. What happened to all the tit shots from season 1?
I win.
Thank you for riding here so quickly.
Okay, that wasn't even the scene. We're still working up to that scene. Oh, Ramsay Bolton is actually worse than Joffrey. He is worse than Joffrey. Because Joffrey's still got the excuse of being like a dumb kid who was raised with entitlement and shit. Ramsay Bolton is a full-grown man, enjoying doing this shit to people.
Harrenhal is not in the north. It is his. Once the war is over.
Damn, so the phrase we're gonna get Harrenhal, that's actually a pretty good deal.
Our father requires Lord Edmure to wed one of his daughters, Roslyn.
What's funny is, Roslyn is actually the only Frey daughter that's beautiful. Now, Edmure doesn't know that at this point, but he has lucked out.
Father is old. It would put his heart at peace if he could see her wed to a good husband.
Thinking from Walder Frey's perspective, what is the purpose of this scene? Because it's like he's trying to renegotiate a better peace treaty after Robb broke the agreement to marry one of his daughters in the first place. But what does he get from this after the Red Wedding? Does he still get Harrenhal? Obviously Edmure does actually marry the Frey girl before the shit goes down, but what was the strategic purpose of him trying to have this meeting when he already had a double cross planned?
Offer me a daughter of my choosing.
You're willing to risk our freedom and our lives for a chance at a prettier wife.
Yeah, that just adds to the list of reasons this guy's an absolute idiot. He couldn't even shoot an arrow straight at the funeral procession, first of all, but also he is literally willing to start a war just to try and get a better looking wife. That is so shallow. And as I said, he already locked out. He's got the pick of the bunch.
I'll marry her. You're paying for my sins, uncle.
If this guy had anything else going for himself, I would say, oh, it's a bit harsh he's being forced into it, but this seems like the first time he has made himself useful his entire life, so under those circumstances, I'm all for him doing this.
I should send you back to Robb Stark.
You should. Instead, you're sitting here.
Maybe this actually explains my questions from the last scene. This is the seeds of the Red Wedding during this conversation, I believe. So maybe Walder Frey doesn't even know about the plot yet.
You will swear to tell your father the truth. That I had nothing to do with your maiming.
I'm surprised Tywin Lannister actually didn't get revenge on Lord Bolton for that, looking back. I know he's instrumental in orchestrating the Red Wedding, but still, Tywin being Tywin, you would think he would have something done to him for doing that to his favourite son.
I would have hoped you'd learnt your lesson about overplaying your position.
That would have been a nice choice of words if you didn't momentarily glance down at his stump before you decided to change them.
Your grandson's nocturnal activities, do you deny them?
Oh, not at all.
A sword swallower through and through.
She calls it like she sees it, even when it's her own family.
Brothers and sisters.
I will not breathe further life into a malicious lie.
It's funny to see the difference in how they both handle the truth there. She just accepted the truth about Loris and was like, yeah, he's a gay guy, so what? Whereas she throws a little bit of that truth back at Tywin and he literally recoils.
If the rumours about my children were true, then Joffrey is no king at all.
And just by the way he handled that conversation there, you would assume that deep down he does know the truth about Joffrey, but I swear later on when Cersei confronts him directly, he's back to being in denial about it.
It's a rare enough thing. A man who lives up to his reputation.
Yeah, gotta respect Tywin in that scene. He actually ended it with the upper hand, and you cannot say that about any other character with Lady Olenna throughout the entire show. I think that is the one singular loss she takes, and she negates that loss, of course, by murdering Joffrey, but in that one scene, she took the loss. She wins the fucking war though, but she lost that battle. Well, I bet you wish you were back in that cave now, Egret. Thank God Tormund is strong as shit.
We gotta turn them loose!
I missed that as well when I watched this initially, that Tormund screamed no toward his suggestion of cutting them loose. Because I'm trying to find the point in this show where Tormund won me over as well. It's not got to it yet, but if I'd have maybe heard him shout that, he might have won me over sooner. In reality, that would have definitely snapped her back in half. Look at him, genuinely couldn't wait to send those two plummeting to their deaths. What a disappointed guy.
It's more a brooch, really. Well, I suppose a brooch is a sort of pin, so...
Now there's the natural charisma only a surefire ladies' man can bring to the table.
I feel like I'm in a dream.
Yes, me too. Definitely.
It's like a Disney movie if the prince was secretly gay and hated the princess.
The most beautiful bride in the world. A beautiful gown of gold and green brocade with fringed sleeves.
He can't help himself, see that? His mind instantly had to draw itself to the embroidery to maintain interest in the potential wedding. The most beautiful woman in the world, wearing green fabrics, silks and cottons with gold embezzled in the... Can I design your dress?
It's hard to say which of the four of us is getting the worst of this arrangement. Probably Sansa.
I was about to say 100% it's Sansa, by default, because the rest of you are adults being forced to do things against your will, and she's a child.
If it weren't for your trick with the wildfire, Stannis would have sacked the city before Father got here.
Well, it's nice to hear her say it, but he did prompt her, and she still did it begrudgingly.
Kill me during the Battle of the Blackwater.
If I'd have just got that confirmation, I would have left King's Landing instantly. What is the point in hanging around when your own family are trying to bump you off?
To murder the hand of the king in full view of his own army, the boy's an idiot.
Oh, so it was Joffrey. Now that would make the most sense, because it is a stupid decision to try and have Tyrion killed, especially when he's trying to defend the city.
They won't need to be afraid of him. Joffrey will belong to Marjorie, the little doe-eyed whore.
You leave my little doe-eyed whore alone. She can do no wrong. I'm lost in her doe eyes and her sleeveless tubinged whorishness.
From what I can tell, the dressmakers in Highgarden will be far superior to the ones in King's Landing.
Again, I know this is all for nothing, but it's just so good to see Sansa smiling after all she's been through thus far. And she's still got more horrible shit to come, so these little pockets of her finding happiness in her day-to-day life are glorious.
I need to speak with you, Lady Sansa.
Of course.
Oh, that's the end of Sansa's happiness coming up right this moment.
Please excuse her, Lord Tyrion. She's not from here. But I trust her.
Oh, Andy's got to tell her in front of Shay. Fuck.
Realize we wished we'd heard it under entirely different circumstances.
He's trying so hard to talk her out of the room and she is not having it.
This is awkward.
How are you not going to show us that scene? That would have been such a great dramatic scene.
There aren't even 200. I've counted. I'm sure you have.
I love that little detail because it just shows his absolute obsession with the throne. And also, they bumped up the sword number in the House of the Dragon series. You know, there used to be some shit on the ground surrounding it they got rid of. There used to be more swords, okay?
Prospect of me getting what I want.
Thwarting you has never been my primary ambition, I promise you.
Well, it fucking should have been.
When I thwarted your plan to give Sansa Stark to the Tyrells, I did feel an unmistakable sense of enjoyment.
Bet you did, you prick.
The one you swore to protect. You didn't bring her any enjoyment.
Oh no, this is the Roz shit, innit? What an absolute scumbag Littlefinger is for this.
He was so grateful to me for providing this fresh experience.
And obviously, this is an absolute new low for Joffrey as well.
It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agreed to tell each other.
This is such a good scene though, you have to give credit to the writers, and I'm assuming this scene's in the book.
Chaos is a ladder. Many who try to climb it fail.
Such a famous phrase, and it always rings so true. Like, just look at the last example of chaos in our world, which was COVID. During COVID, many companies had an opportunity to make a lot of money due to the pandemic. Now, we could argue conspiracies as to the reasons of that all day, but even if there's no conspiracy attached to that reason, a lot of companies made money during the pandemic. And poor Roz, what a horrific ending. I mean, she just travelled to King's Landing to try and make a bit of extra money now that all the soldiers had left Winterfell. Such a simple, innocent, under the terms of prostitution storyline. And that's the fate she met. If I was Jon Snow, as soon as I got to my feet, I'd throw that guy that tried to kill me right off the top of the wall. Let's see how he likes falling. Even though that would have been the worst climb of all time, what a view when you got to the top. You better enjoy that view, you literally risked your life to attain it. It's like people who climb Everest. And it would actually be just a crazy sight for wildlings to see where the snow ends and greenery starts. They're so used to nothing but snow in every direction. It's a really nice shot to end it on, but because it's composed digitally, it just doesn't have the effect that shots like that would traditionally have on me when I know it's legitimate cinematography and it's all in camera. Okay, and that was episode 6 of season 3 of Game of Thrones, The Climb, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, The Climb, what did I think of that? Another brilliant episode. There's only really a few things going on in this episode, but they were all handled so well. First of all, we got to see the Red Woman arrive at the Brotherhood Without Banners camp, showing that she's got intentions to kidnap Gendry. And like I said, I mean, they could have just been a bit more forward with their intentions, and they might have been able to talk Gendry into giving some blood as a sacrifice to the cause or something like that. But no, they just black bagged him and dragged him away, which of course causes Arya to be like, what exactly are you doing? Because the way they did it looks like they're about to just take him away and kill him. Which technically she is, because I think the only reason Gendry actually survives the procedure is because the Onion Knight frees him. We got Tyrion asking Cersei if the attempt on his life was at her orders, and she alluded to the fact that it was Joffrey, which does make sense, and he seems like the type of petty person who would do that even during a defense of his own city. Then we get a little momentary bit of happiness with Sansa as she's thinking about her wedding with Loras after the awkward scene they had in the gardens of King's Landing, where Loras just clearly has no interest in Sansa, isn't interested in the wedding, but he was trying at least. But yeah, then, as always happens in these early seasons, Sansa's joy turns to misery as Tyrion has to tell her they're now to be wed, and we didn't actually get that scene on camera, and to me that's a bit confusing because it seems like it'd be such a great dramatic scene. I don't know if we go back to it next episode or something, but interesting choice for them to not actually show us directly that scene and how everybody reacted. We got a scene of Ramsay torturing and peeling a piece of skin off Theon's finger, and I was hoping, just to get it out of the way, that that was going to be the scene with, you know, his member getting cut off, but we've still got that one to come. I forget how many times we just cut to that torture cell and see Ramsay do a next little wicked wicked, evil thing that brings him joy. No wonder we end up feeling sorry for Theon. But yeah, the majority of the episode focused on Jon and Ygritte and Tormund and the rest of them climbing the wall. There was some incredible shots throughout the episode, seeing them scale it from different angles, etc. And fuck that guy for trying to kill Jon and Ygritte and then looking incredibly disappointed when they actually made it to the top in the end. And as I was saying during the episode, my one criticism of stuff like that is, you know, back in the day, if they'd went up in a helicopter and got an amazing bit of cinematography in Iceland or something, or Norway or Greenland, and brought it back and just put the wall in front of it, I would have been in awe at the scenery, but because it looked like a completely digitally composed shot, it just didn't give me the sense of awe that a shot like that is supposed to give me, unfortunately. It's a tiny criticism though in what was otherwise a brilliant episode, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes next week. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below and share this around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.